I am creating a card game for Windows with XAML and C#. I planned 1 week to create the game, and since I already have 2 similar games, I created a copy of the code of both earlier games. The game did not behave quite well and I started to run out of time. I created patch on patch on patch until the code was so horrible it took me longer and longer to get things done. Every software engineer knows this paradox. By going fast, I slowed myself down. This is very frustrating, and at this point you have a couple of options. You abandon the project, you keep patching everything up and eventually ship questionable software, or you accept the facts and you realize you need extra time for refactoring. Well, I did not want to abandon the project, and keep patching things up will continue to slow me down. So I must refactor. But when you work in a team, you need permission to do this. From my experience, refactoring is never a popular topic, and I have had many occasions where refactoring needed to be done while working on features. This is the reason why you look at a post-it on the Scrum board that says "Changing text on a button, 8 hours." It is because developers are not allowed to be honest about refactoring. Which is such a shame, because it is refactoring that speeds up the development, and every boss above you should know this. And there is another problem with combining refactoring and creating new features. They require a different kind of thinking. One is usually very analytic and restrictive, where you think in modules, types, patterns, interfaces, while a new feature might require more creative thinking. So, refactoring is a different task altogether. Now, I know what you're going to say. How on earth will I convince my boss that we need refactoring just by saying it will speed up development? I don't have the answer for you. I've had many fruitless discussions about this topic because it is very hard to assess the risks and time that are involved with refactoring. So, I always ended up with this bad solution. Now, even if I can decide how to spend my time, it is still not easy to break the development phase and go into refactor mode. But there is a lesson I learned very early on in my career, and it did not come from work, but from playing in my band. We were doing a band competition in my hometown Eindhoven, and after the first song, one of the strings of the bass player snapped. He had to change bass, but it took a while. We were all very frustrated, but then something really cool happened. Our drummer started to play to keep the audience busy. And the totally bored technician started to add some echo and EQ. When we continued playing the set, our sound had much improved. We went from this to this. What started as frustration forced us to refactor our little concert, and we ended up with something much better. Now, how does this apply to my card game? I decided to throw away all code and start over. Starting over does not mean creating everything from scratch. What I mean is that I created a new project and carefully chose what parts to copy and what parts to rewrite. And suddenly my frustration went away. Once a function with 20 lines can be simplified to 4 lines because you took the time to think about it, not only the code gets better, but you start moving faster because you do not constantly have to think and debug. And to my surprise, the refactor went much faster than I thought. And in the process, I found many bugs that also had to be in the other games I copied the code from. In the end, refactoring the code sped up the development time so much that after 4 days I was ready with the whole card game and used the extra time to fix the bugs in the previous card games, using my experience from this game. Now, of course, not all projects have such a happy ending, but there is one message I want to give you. When things go wrong, don't worry. It happens all the time. We developers have a great job, but getting things right the first time is not easy. When things go wrong, it might be the perfect occasion to start improving things for the long run. Now I'm curious, do you have a story where a software catastrophe turned into a lucky accident that caused things to improve? Write it in the comments and we'll see each other in the next video.